All right. This afternoon's class is our usual Friday Q&A session or open discussion. We don't really have a structure or format to this. We're just going to kind of go through the list of people attending today, and hopefully we'll be able to answer all your questions for you. Jane, are you from American Sprinkler?
I am.
Joe warned me about you.
Yeah, look out.
I think what Joe gave me a little briefing before the training, and he was saying we may just need some general direction. He gave me a little bit of kind of what you're trying to accomplish, whether we use tasks or a route and the reoccurring. And I think the frequency was we have most of the stops that are going to reoccur either yearly or twice a year, something along those lines.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, he said either the task list may be the way for us to go, just in so much as that we have one-time services. We have, in the spring we do the startups, and then we may not see that customer again until the following spring, or we may see them in the fall for the winterization of their system.
Gotcha. Now, are these are that opening and winterization, are those scheduled, or do they need to like pop up as reminders for you to call the customer and schedule that service?
Okay. We do some calling. A lot of our customers call in to schedule.
Okay.
We do have a handful of customers that we see every year. They do call every year. And if we were to put them in a route schedule, where we just do their startup, we could schedule it, say April 15th is their day, and then set it for the 365 days, and then that will pop up the following year. But then I think it's adding work for us because they call us. We basically have a larger need for the task list.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the direction of where I would steer you is using the task list to manage the call-in work is created as a one-time task that doesn't reoccur until they call in again. Those few that do actually have a set scheduled reoccurring, you see me April 15th and October 15th every year, you could set those up as reoccurring tasks.
Okay.
And I would be more than happy to demonstrate the reoccurring part of how we would schedule someone maybe that has those set opening and closing dates.
I would love to see that, please.
Okay.
I think that would be beneficial, I mean, with the software, right? I mean, instead of waiting for them to call us, I mean, we just set them up, you know, right away.
Yep. You could do it one or the other. I mean, if you, let me just step backwards for a moment. If we could set up reoccurring appointments for everyone, it would create a task, and then when they call, you just open up that task that's due in April, and then you then just adjust the due date to when that is actually going to be scheduled or performed.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. So to do that, simply I'm just going to go to task entry. And first I'm just going to double click in my task types, and I'm going to set up a couple task types. I've got a lot in here for the demos. And just so you have an idea, tasks will not only be just used for that opening and closing. You have one-time services, service calls, basically your work orders will also be a task. Billing questions, follow-ups, quotes, installations, all is managed through a task. So this is going to be your go-to for company communication, for work orders, for scheduling, everything. Now we could create a task type called simply opening. And I can create one called closing. Now I can pick a customer. And let's say we're going to set up their reoccurring every year opening. I can put in some task description or specific notes about this customer. Every opening we need to do this, this, and this. We could list those out in the task description. Or you could just simply form opening per customer request, or something along those lines, whatever verbiage you want to use. We can leave everything else blank. We maybe want to assign this to service, or assign it to something that maybe you don't know what tech's going to do it until they call in and you actually physically schedule that date. So we could create a username in the software by going to System, User Maintenance. These are the names that we have available to us. These are what you create, your technicians, or you could create them as simple categories. Like I've created a username called Accounting. That allows me to assign a task to, let's say, the accounting department. I could then filter my task list to see all the accounting-related issues. So we could create one called Unassigned. And if we're just using a username as kind of like a category, we don't have to fill out any other information. So I'm going to pick my assigned to unassigned. And then the due date is going to be, when I first create my first task, the due date is going to be when I want that first scheduled opening. So let's say it's going to be next week, April 24th. And that's when this task is going to pop up every year to remind me that this customer should be calling us around this time. I then can go to reoccurring schedule. I can have this simply reoccur every 365 days. Real simple, with no end date. We don't have to get into any other frequencies. That daily like this will work just fine. Now I can click Close. Now this customer, let's see, April 24th, we see it at the very bottom. And remember, I assigned it to unassigned, so I would be able to filter my task list like this and see all the appointments of customers that are, going to be calling in or should be calling in around that certain due date. Now, if the customer does call, we would just, on our task list, customer calls in, I then look for that customer by filtering right on the top of the task list. I can then open up that one task, change the due date to when we're actually going to send the technician out, and then I could assign it to the actual tech doing the work. Now it's scheduled. If they're using the mobile devices, he would then see it on his mobile device, whichever tech you then assigned it to. So now we can go ahead and, for the same customer, we can create the closing. And let's say we want the closing to be due in October or whatever, September, whatever month that is. And then again, unassigned. Reoccurring every 365. No end date, create. So now I could, once I have this set up for my customers, I could go this drop down right above the task type. I could hit that and I could see all of my closings. Anyone scheduled for a closing would pop up here. Now we did just schedule a closing, and if you're wondering why it's not showing up, it's because our default days out on our task list is set to 14, meaning I only see what's coming up in that 2-week window. Now I can certainly adjust this to, let's say, 365 days, and now I can see that one closing coming up for that customer we created it for, and it lets us know it is due 179 days away. Another nice thing about the reoccurring tasks is when we go to task info, reoccurring task list, I would see everybody who had a specific reoccurring task. So I would know this customer has 2 reoccurring tasks, one for their opening, one for their closing. I can then double-click this task number, and I get a nice pop-up menu where if I hit Update the Reoccurring Task, it's going to allow me to make a change to it, and then that change is carried out through all the future tasks in the series. All the other openings, that change would be reflected. I could view the reoccurring task schedule, and I would see that currently they've got the opening on April 15th, 2014, and then April 24th, 2014, and April 24th, 2015. Now, when we get into the next year, the software will automatically create and take their task out one more year. So you won't ever have to manage this. It'll just be once that task gets in with that number of days on your task list, it'll pop up as green. When it's due, it's yellow. And if the customer still hasn't called yet, when it gets past that due date, it's going to be red. And maybe you just create an internal procedure that anytime a customer gets on the red list or the past due list, and maybe you let it go 2 weeks, or when they become past due of 14 days, that's when you make the outbound call to schedule them. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
Perfect. Now, because we're using the tasks, we can use the schedule view. Anything that is a task shows up on the calendar. We can then change the employees. You can pick and choose which employees you want to see on the schedule. So we could see maybe everything that's unassigned for the month. We would see we've got an opening coming up on the 24th to unassigned. Anything else you can think of that you may want to see as far as the tasks, or do you want me to jump to somebody else and come back, maybe have another question?
Yes.
Go ahead and move on.
You can go ahead and,
Okay.
and let somebody else ask
Okay.
a question.
Let's see here. Is that Lonnie or Eileen?
Both of us today.
Oh, man, I'm in trouble.
We have a couple questions. One is, a few weeks ago we talked about the routing the map. Mapping the routes and doing our entire list of customers. I
Correct.
came in last weekend to do that, but it wants you have to enter in an assigned to person. Let me go to that. You have to enter in an assigned to under that one field, or it won't map it, and so I can't do all my, how do I do all my customers?
You go to Route Info, Route Mapping. From this list, you can leave the route blank. You can then map everybody that you service and just pick the date range on the bottom here and just go maybe like January 1st to December 31st. So that should be everybody on your route schedule and map. That'll map every customer regardless of what route they're on.
Okay. Okay. It's all right if I ask you a couple more. I think ours are quick, so.
Yeah, go right ahead.
We're still trying to sign up. You know, we want to go over contracts with you and forms, and I'm still trying to sign up for that other class. And on Thursday morning, it continued the last 2 weeks. It won't let me, Michael. It keeps coming up saying this training is over for Thursday morning.
Let's see. 1 sec, let me pull up my training schedule. I thought I fixed that. The 25th at 10 a.m. That would be this coming Thursday, right?
Yes. I just went to the register for a class, and it doesn't say a date. It just says Thursday a.m., Thursday 10 a.m. And if I hit register now, it comes up and says this training is over. It doesn't tell me any dates.
Look in the Go to Training chat. I just sent the registration link for the Thursday training session. You should be able to click that, and you can select which date you want to register, which Thursday session. And I will make sure that link in the there's a little chat for the Go to Training, like the little toolbar it does when you join the training class. You should have a little section that says chat.
Okay, I got it. So the
And I'll make sure that link is what's on the website after this training, but that'll let you register for it right now.
Okay. And then just real quick, you sent me the new application for the Android phones, and we
Correct.
put that on a couple of phones, and I saw the signature capture on there, but I was wondering, do you know off the top of your head real quickly, like what are some of the things that were changed or fixed in that new version that we have?
The mapping now on the Android devices maps correctly. Your customers aren't in the middle of the ocean off the coast of Africa was a big one. You can view customer equipment, billing info for the route billing info for customers. All those links work. Additional contact.
Does the gate code work? Was that on one of the things that was being fixed?
I believe the gate code is fixed in the actual app, but since we were having trouble with it, we turned off the syncing of the gate code to the app itself. We are releasing the version this coming Monday that will allow the signature to be downloaded and viewed inside the service program. And at that point, we're, I think, turning back on the syncing as well for the gate code, subdivision, and some of those miscellaneous info fields.
Okay. And that was another question, is where does that signature go?
As of right now, it will be stored in the server. We just don't have the desktop yet that'll display it. But once we have that update on Monday, any signatures you've captured will be displayed on the appropriate task, route ticket, or invoice. So if you do a signature on a route ticket, you should be able to go to your route ticket list, open up the ticket, and I believe we're going to be having the signature kind of in this white space.
Okay.
Kind of in this area here.
Mm-hmm.
So could that be why when I was playing with the phone this morning, Eileen and I were trying to figure out a couple things. When I did a task on my phone, which I have that new version you sent to me, it didn't seem like it was working when I checked the resolution box, when I changed the subassigned to a different name, to complete. It wasn't registering that. It wasn't working when we tried to sync. Is that maybe because we don't have that new version yet that you're releasing on Monday?
I have not tried to send anything through. There is going to be an update to the service program desktop that'll display the signatures, but we also have to update your the web server installation, the IRT that we installed to run the mobile apps. We do have an update of that we'll have to be applying for you guys so that the signature actually has somewhere to go. You may not have the field for it in your web server, and that's maybe
Okay.
maybe it's stopping that task. That's something I've not tried. I apologize. For the meantime, just to be safe, don't do any signatures until we've updated you.
Okay.
Well, okay. And the notes in the customer detail, they're not
Yes.
there, and they weren't there before, and then they were, and now you have to go to the big list. Is that going to get fixed?
So are you talking about where we had that little bug, like if you're a customer and you see the notes? Let me get a customer with some notes here. Like we would see the notes, and if we switch customers, you wouldn't see the notes.
Right.
Let's see. We're going to switch to Advantage here, and they should have some notes. Oh, wrong one. Yep, my version, which is going to be the one that's still not available to you guys, the one I'm running right now, it appears to be fixed and working. I can flip it back.
All right. Thanks, Michael.
Go to notes. No problem. Pat, is there a question or two I can answer for you?
Yes. For the routes, the people who are on the route every week, can you print out like a single route sheet for everyone?
Yeah, like a schedule just for one technician?
No, just like for one customer, like one customer per page instead of having 3 or 4 on the page.
Maybe, but maybe if you give me the reasoning behind that, I can kind of give you something that'll accomplish that. What's your procedure process that would one per page? Is that for like a worksheet for the guys to take notes on, or?
Yeah, it seems like you could put more information on one sheet as far as chemicals and notes and things like that, as far as the smaller spaces.
There are a couple things we could do. One, let me go ahead and just add a customer on here. I'll show you a couple things. Just get 3 stops on here. So I can look at route sheets. I go to print route sheet. Let me make sure I'm in the your Suburban Pools, right? Yep. Okay,
Correct.
Switch my history here. Version 1 is the one that prints 3 per page, and you do have lots of room and some spot for the chemical entry. Is this still not enough for what we're needing?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not enough. That's what we were actually printing. We were doing the version 1.
Okay. Right away, without any customization, I think we could do. One thought behind it is to do with checklists. And this would allow you to create a checklist that you could attach to each customer. And if you make the checklist long enough, basically designing a worksheet that would print below each stop, it'll push the customer to the second page. So you can get 1 per page.
Okay. Can you print out a route ticket?
That
seemed
would
like
be the third way to do it, would be to use a route ticket. So if I go to Route Info, auto-generate route tickets, I could generate my tickets for today. And if I print by default, it prints like an invoice. We don't really want that. What we can do, though, is use a Word template. This will allow you to design your own document, and you could print 1 per page. I've got one available. I think this will work. I think I've set up this template. Here we go. this would print one customer. I've designed this route ticket. It pre-fills customer information on it, any line items that are on the customer's pricing, and you can design something similar to this, however you want it to look.
And we can design that ourselves, or you need to do that?
No, this is all, this is something you all can do just by starting with a blank Word document, putting some tables in, or laying it out however you like. I do have, finally have put up some good documentation on this. If you go to miscellaneous info and view online help, if you go to how to and then Word templates, one, I have a quick little video demo I've done on how to set up a Word template, how to do basically you have to use Word bookmarks that tie into the fields in the service program. But I've explained that in a little video. And then that one ticket I showed you, right below the video, you can click the route ticket template and actually download that document I just showed you as a starting point. All the bookmarks are in there. All you have to do is the instructions are on here of where to save it, and then you can print to it. And then start with that and rearrange the different fields. And if you have any trouble, we do have that class that we offer specifically for leads, quotes, templates, and contracts, which I believe we do, let's see here, Tuesday afternoon and Thursday morning.
Okay, when I go on the website and I click on those, you know, how to, the list is always behind the pictures for some reason. I never can see the list. Like that list that you have in black, it's always behind everything else, and I never get to see what it says.
Now, depending on your computer, I know like Windows XP with an older version of Internet Explorer may not like some of the new web design stuff that's out there. If you either one, check for Windows updates and make sure you're running the latest version of Internet Explorer, or you can download Google Chrome, which is what I'm using right now.
Okay.
It's a different web browser. In my personal opinion, Google Chrome is less prone to some of the viruses that tap into Internet Explorer and slows down the computer. So this is a little, in my opinion, safer to run.
Okay.
I think you just go to google.com/Chrome, C-H-R-O-M-E, and it'll fast and free. Here it is. You just download that.
Okay, perfect. Also, too, the class that we had last week, you said was going to be on the website. I didn't see it on there. Is it posted on the website?
I'm actually trying to get the videos so that we have the option to download them or view them on the website. I've had a couple requests of people that just don't have the internet speed to stream the videos through the website, like we've done now. Some of the videos you have to like sign in again, and some people like that. Some people want to download it so they can pause it and watch it as they will. So I'm working on that this morning. I will have that done by the end of today, I promise.
I just don't want to have to ask the same questions.
Oh, not a problem.
Okay.
Oh, is that Charlotte?
It is.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Michael?
Good, good. Do you have a couple questions for me today?
I sure do.
Great.
Okay, so we haven't really started using it yet, but we're trying to get ready so we can start not next week, but the week after. So when we set up the route schedule, we choose the customer, the frequency, the assigned to. But my question is, when we have a certain customer that has a few different services that we do for them, and right now we are just looking at septic side of things, not portable toilets.
Okay.
How does it know on that route? Like if we do their holding tank and then we also do pit service, cleaning their pits there and then cleaning their gutters, how does it know which service to select to put on the frequency routing? like what I did in the detail is in the pricing, there's that route frequency, and I've selected, like beside the folding tank, I'll put the 4-week schedule. But how does it know which service to pick so that our drivers know?
Now, do you have other services you perform on that same 4-week frequency?
Not for that customer, like let's say Transex, for example, one of our customers, their holding tank is pumped out weekly, but their pits are not, but we have them under in that same customer detail, same account, I guess.
Let me open up a customer here. So let's say we have, let's see, I'm just going to use some examples. Say we have a monthly service that we do monthly, and then we have a weekly service due weekly. You have, service A and service B.
Right.
2 different frequencies, similar like that. Now, when it comes time to the schedule, so let's say we're auto-generating tickets for today.
Okay.
When we do that, it's going to look at the frequency for the current date, today, weekly, and it's going to look at that customer's pricing and only grab the one with the matching frequency.
Oh, it will. Okay.
So as long as today's date, you're doing the weekly service and the pricing that matches for today's service is showing weekly like it is here, it'll pull that pricing onto the route ticket so that the driver knows what he's doing, and then you can invoice off the route ticket to QuickBooks.
Okay. Okay, so that answers that question. I do have another one. If we do create a task for like a call-in customer that's not on the frequency, in order to get them on the route schedule, it should pop up and say, do you want to put on route schedule? Am I correct?
Correct. So if I hit route schedule, I think I have to turn the setting on, and you guys may have it on. I don't know if Bill has changed anything, but make sure if you go to miscellaneous info, system, and control table, the option is under tasks. It's about midway through prompt to add task to route schedule. We'll change that to yes.
Okay.
And it should then, when you like to open task in the route schedule, hit yes. I don't have none of these are actual technicians set up.
Right, so it'll put it on the route schedule. Now, when I've got all of my routes set up, I do need to do that route mapping, correct? I can do the course for that one, but the training.
Yeah, then we can go to route mapping. We can map based on everyone in a certain route, or that's in a certain zone, or certain postal code that's on a certain day of the week, and you can mix and match these combinations here to do some advanced mapping. Now, the simple mapping, if you just want to map one route for one day,
right.
I could say I need to map everybody for Route 1 for today's date. And I'm using the assign to and the assign date, just these 2 fields, and I can hit map, and it will map the stops that it's currently showing me.
Okay. I did have one more question. If we create a task and we want to no longer have that, if we want to delete it, do we just do the right-click delete, like if we created a route and we don't? Oh, delete record. Okay.
You can do that, or if you've added tasks to your route schedule and you want to step back, all you have to do is select the frequency task. Here are all the add-ins. And then I could, let's say I only needed one of those customers out of all the open ones. I only needed to add one to the route schedule. Now I can just take the rest I don't need, highlight them all, delete. I'm left with the one customer I wanted to add onto the route today.
Okay, and that just deleted from the route schedule, but not the task itself.
Exactly. The tasks themselves are all still here, just allows me to just keep that one that I needed to add and not all of them.
Okay.
And this brings up a good point. Jane and Tom,
Yes.
you can't take advantage of that feature where if you guys want to take your current workload, basically your scheduled services for the current day, you could then dynamically route yes, you can dynamically add those tasks to the route schedule as one-time stops. That way you can rearrange them, put them in the right order, and map them with MapPoint. That would be something maybe a little later down the road you guys could get into doing that may be beneficial to you.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
And these tasks, when they're created, they don't reoccur. And for you, you're managing your reoccurring off the task itself. So those tasks get added as one-time stops that do not reoccur. And then when you're done with those one-time stops on the schedule, they delete themselves.
Oh, okay.
Which that reoccurring task would still exist. And that then would allow you to add tasks that are due, let's say, tomorrow to the route schedule when you get in the office and not have anything from yesterday still on there.
So, Michael, where did you go to get to that part there? To set, you just double-clicked on the frequency?
Correct. Double-click on the frequency, you get to the frequency maintenance.
Oh, okay.
Same with any field that is blue and underlined. It's just the visual indicator that you can double-click to kind of drill down and see the details. So for my route text, same thing, double-click. And the new feature is our route notes. I know this has changed since you and I have talked, Charlotte. The route notes themselves used to just be straight text. Now they look like a link, and if we double-click, we get a large field for large pop-up for the route notes entry.
Oh, okay, because I was just asking Michael, I believe it was yesterday, about route notes for customers, because we have a note that's always in that customer detail that we want to show every time we go to that customer's place to do a service.
Yeah, for the route scheduled services, that static note needs to go in route notes.
Okay, now what if it's not a routed customer? What if it's a customer that, they get their tank pumped out once a year? But we want to leave the notes in the customer file so that every year when they call, we're not asking them the same questions. And we want it to show on the work order when we do print it or the route sheet.
You can put those notes in, let's see, if we go to, just get into a task here. One, you could use the customer alert just to let you know that there are specific notes for this client or something like that.
Okay.
When we go into customer detail, we could use the notes tab.
Okay, so right now that's what I've been doing. I think we created a note type that says a driver's note. So and I put it in the notes. Is that the correct spot?
Yes. If you just have like a, we have a
yeah,
driver's note. And then let's say this is our note. Now the nice thing is, again, we would probably need to go to that miscellaneous info, control table maintenance, go to tasks.
Okay.
And then, let's see, there should be an option to print notes history on tasks. And that's what we want. Show notes history on tasks. Have that to yes.
Oh, okay. And that little box at the bottom or at the side there where you created that note, does that need to have a check mark in it or no? Like in the customer detail. Yeah.
Over here?
Yeah. Does that
No.
No?
No, this is only for when a customer calls and says, hey, I would like to see my service history. Well, you may have some driver's notes in here that you don't want them to see. We only want them to see maybe their actual work order history, so I'm only going to check the actual task history and print, and that then prints a customer history report.
Okay, perfect.
Now, when we go print a work order, let's see. Customer notes history, we would have any of those notes on here.
Okay.
I think anything more, Charla, or are you all set?
No, you know what, that's good for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Jane, Tom, you guys have anything popped into your head, or?
No, not at the moment. I think I want to play with this thing a little bit and then maybe see if something pops up that I need to ask about.
Okay. Anyone else have any other questions, or are we all set for this afternoon?
I actually have more questions.
Okay.
Okay. After I've done the route for this week, and we've done the services. Now, how do I go? I have to go back in to add the chemicals onto the invoice itself on the customer's route, and
Yeah.
then I need to learn how to post it, and I guess batch bill at the end of the month.
Correct. Do you charge your customers per service, or is it like a flat rate monthly billing?
It's per service, so it's per week. So then if they have chemicals, I have to go back in to add that on.
Okay, so when you auto-generate your route tickets, at the end of the day or the end of the week, whenever you go back in to enter in any chemicals or anything like that, we go to our route ticket list. And here would be all the generated route tickets that we've done throughout the week or the month. We then double-click on this number in the middle that's blue and underlined. And then here we would see our chemical data, anything we can enter in. If we need to charge for chemicals, we can pick chlorine tabs and bill for it here. Now all this is pre-created when we auto-generate route tickets. You just have to go back in and mark what was done.
Okay.
Now, do you have pricing set up where we can do this one of two ways? Is we can either on the customer detail under pricing.
Yes, I
we
have all
can
that
fit-
set up.
Okay, so when you auto-generate the tickets have pricing like this, like weekly pool service at $25, right?
Right.
Okay. Those pricing items are included on every route ticket. So simply, all we have to do is at the end of the month, we hit this top button here, Post One Day to QuickBooks. And then, a little misleading, but this allows us to batch post the route tickets. Anything that hasn't already been posted to QuickBooks is going to be listed here. So we could put in the date range you're billing for at the top of the page, set the posting date or what is considered the invoice date in QuickBooks, whatever you want it to show as the invoice date, and post to QuickBooks.
Okay,
The
but I
nice
don't
thing
post.
is-
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
No, I batch bill at the end of the month, not on each, like the end of the week.
Yeah, so this is what you do at the end of every month.
Oh, okay.
And
So where
you're
do the
just putting
tickets,
in,
where do the tickets go at the end of each day or the end of the week if you're
route ticket list.
Okay.
This list here, and if I go ahead and let's say I have a weekly service, 25 for that person, and I don't have the pricing set up for all my customers. But if you have all their pricing in, you should have a service charge on most of these that are automatically put on here, so you don't have to do this part. I'm just going to see if I can show you a full example here.
Well, that's where I would add things on if we needed, the chemicals and stuff. I would add them on that list there. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Now, can I print that route ticket? Is that printable?
Yeah.
Like if I, after adding that stuff on, could I print that?
Yeah, all we have to do is go back. We've got to go back to the, do you want to print like an invoice?
No,
trying
well,
to
the actual route ticket. When you double that right there, can I print that?
Yep.
Okay. Because we tried that before and it didn't work. It didn't print out. Something else printed out. It was weird.
Now this may be adjusted in the version I have, so on Monday you can check for updates and it should work just like this.
Okay.
Michael, how often should we check for updates?
We are releasing updates every Monday.
Every Monday? Okay.
Yes. That is our update schedule, and that includes any features or additions or bug fixes that we've encountered from that last week.
Okay.
Like last week or this week, big update was the barcoding for rentals, which is really cool.
Huh.
I don't know if you want to get into barcoding, but if we look at entering a rental, I can hit use barcode. And we have some certain one we recommend, but would basically allow you to print out barcodes on the delivery tickets and rental tickets. And if you're returning, you can just grab a stack of pickup tickets that have a barcode on it and just scan, 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 scan. If you're scanning 100 pickups, they all get automatically entered. Or if you're renting out 100 things, you could just be scanning barcode numbers.
And that barcode number knows that it's for that rental transaction?
Yes, because that will be the barcode you're scanning we would set up in the rental inventory list.
Right.
We have a field view barcode, and the serial number of the rental gets automatically changed into a barcoded number. So if you scan a barcode, like if you have a book of all your inventory with the barcodes in it, you could just scan from the book and it'll pre-populate on that rental transaction for you.
And what type of scanner do you need to scan this?
Are you getting with Bill anytime soon again, or are you supposed to
I
follow up?
Yeah, I probably will.
I'll Skype him right now and ask him for the exact one we have in the office that we tested with. He can send that information to you.
Okay.
And another thing, Charla, we've now added, I don't know if you do for your rental servicing or repairs on the portable toilets or anything like that, we have a separate rental repair history log.
Oh, okay.
That's not tied to a specific customer. You'll be able to see it like an overall transaction repair, anything that's been in for service or serviced on a certain date through a task.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Perfect.
I went off on a tangent. I can't remember where I was. Oh, on the route tickets.
Yeah.
Sorry. I love this stuff. I think it's cool. I get carried away. So we've entered in our chemical data, and we need to bill for the end of the month. Now, we have tickets from, let's say we're end of April, we're billing for the month of April. So like on this list, this route ticket list is going to have all the route tickets all the time. So this becomes a huge list. So that's why we go to a separate screen and post one day to QuickBooks. And we would see all the route tickets that haven't been posted, and now we select the date range we want to bill for. So we only want to bill for service for the month of April. So it just trimmed out that one I had in there for May that I was testing with. I then select the invoice dates. Maybe I want either May 1st or April 30th. And when I hit post to QuickBooks, it will take any tickets for the same customer, like these two here, and combine them to one invoice that goes into QuickBooks.
Okay.
You have another question, Pat, or did we get everything answered?
I think I'm good for now.
All right. Is everyone else all set?
Yeah.
Hey, Michael.
Yes, sir.
What about, Eileen was just talking about if we have a customer that stops service in the middle of the month, can we post their route, can we post route tickets for an individual person?
Yeah. All you have to do is you could go into, let's say, a customer here, and you can post to QuickBooks and post them individually. You could do that.
We can't combine all their tickets for that month. You know, if it's the middle, like right now, someone quit right now, and we have 2 tickets or 3 tickets for them.
What's the service?
That I can use online to go. You know what I mean?
I don't know for sure if we filter this, if it'll send all or just some. I'd be more than happy to find out real quick if we try to filter it on a customer. If we have 2 tickets, if we'll just send those 2 or everything on this list.
Okay.
1 second, we get into the right QuickBooks here. It's a good question. let's say we have Adams. He called in middle of the month, canceled service. So we want to send those 2 tickets to QuickBooks and have them combined. So I could, what I'm hoping is we just change the date on these so they're like separate service dates. What I'm hoping to find out is that maybe they get invoiced together and not everything else.
Right. And all the other customers will just stay in the tickets pending the post.
Yep. All right. I'm in QuickBooks, so let's see what happens here. Actually, I think this is, okay, my fault. That's 1 ticket, just 2 line items. Let me create 1 more ticket for that customer, or find one that has, let me change this here. Yeah. All right. So now we've got 2 tickets, invoice 15 and invoice 17, service on the 10th to the 19th. Let's take our date range and go from the 10th. Let's go to the 19th. And I want to invoice date today and post to QuickBooks. Well, that might have worked. I don't mean to sound surprised. Open invoices for today. The hard thing, I don't know for sure, Lonnie, I may have used today's date and another day. I don't know 100% if these other tickets for today are from
If you go like to your routes tickets pending the post, you still have the other ones in there, right?
I do.
Yeah,
And
so
those
they
other 2
shouldn't.
that I sent over are gone.
All right.
So I think that worked.
Cool.
Okay.
What's the worst thing that happens? You invoice everyone and you call me to roll it backwards and I delete a bunch of stuff in your QuickBooks, right?
Okay. If you can, then that, yeah, we could try it.
I would say before you do it, just to be on the safe side, make a QuickBooks backup so you can roll back right away and make a backup copy of the service program database. That way you can just, do you know how to make a backup of your service program?
I'm not sure. You know, the easier thing for me, Michael, might be just to wait till our billing day and try it. We'll just try 1 customer and then see what happens and then do the rest.
Okay, that'll work.
Okay,
I don't
we'll
know how
try
to
it
make a
when we do.
backup.
Who said that? I heard something backing up the program.
That's me, Pat. I don't know how to
Okay.
back up the program. I know how to back up QuickBooks, not the service program.
All right, the one thing we can do is in the system, and I believe it's the control table maintenance, we can select backup warning. Basically, if we select a date, you know, if we want to be warned for backup, we could put today's date and enable the backup warning. This is going to basically every Friday you'll get a little pop-up. Do you want to back up the service program now? And it will make an automated backup for you. Now, if you want to back it up manually yourself, it just depends where we have the data sitting. If you have more than 1 user using the service program, you may have it on a server along with your QuickBooks data.
We just have 1 user.
Just 1 user. Okay, on your computer, if you go to the C drive, if you open up My Computer, go to C, you should have a folder called the Service Program Data.
Okay.
In there, I have a bunch, but in there, the one file you were looking for is serviceprogramdata.mdb. Everything in the program that matters is in that one file. Nothing else ever has to be backed up. All you have to do is right-click, copy, and paste. You've now made a backup copy that you could then put onto a CD, DVD, a thumb drive, anything like that.
Okay.
The other option, I don't know if, Lonnie, are you using Carbonite?
Yeah, we are.
We just refer a lot of our customers to Carbonite.com. They're an online backup service, and I guess they're doing a 15-day free trial, but basically, and I don't think it's very expensive. Do you mind sharing what you pay, Lonnie, for the backup, or what it costs you per month?
You know, I don't know if I know. It's not very expensive.
We actually have an external hard drive for backing out.
Okay. Okay. I think through Windows, I'm not sure, but I think there's a way through Windows you can set automated backups, and you would just include that service program data folder and that automatic backup to your external hard drive.
Okay. So there's no.
The nice thing about Carbonite is the nice thing about Carbonite, Pat, is it does it continuously. So if you mess something up, you can call them and they can actually just restore it back, you know, a few minutes ago or an hour or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime there's a change, you update a customer and you let the program sit there for a minute, and then your computer crashes. I mean, they can roll it back. I mean, I think they keep up to 30 copies of your data at all times.
That's
Or
cool.
something. And it is. They advertise it right here, unlimited for just $59 a year. So that, you know, $5 a month or something like that.
Right. Okay.
The nice thing is QuickBooks is going to charge you. QuickBooks charged me $300 to fix my corrupted database, and we did it right when we were doing billing. So unfortunately, it wasn't backed up on Carbonite. If the timing had been different, I could have just called Carbonite. They could have restored my data, and I wouldn't have had to pay $300.
Hmm. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Not a problem. We are a little over on time. I am going to have to end the class. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It was a great Q&A. I'll make sure I get the rest of the videos from the last couple weeks onto our website, including today's session. And then if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to either do the chat now right inside of the program, or send us an email to customersupport@westrumsoftware.com.
Thank
Have a great
you.
weekend.
You too.
Thanks, Michael.